If you watched last month's monthly, you might remember us calling it the big one. Well, that didn't age well because this monthly is absolutely packed with news from Summer Game Fest and all the surrounding showcases. We've got major updates on upcoming co-op games and a whole wave of brand new co-op announcements. So the longer I drag out this intro, the more irresponsible it feels. You know why you're here. Let's catch up on all the co-op games that dropped last month, the ones coming up next month, and all the co-op news in between. A big thanks to Cloudheim for sponsoring this episode. Stick around for more on that upcoming co-op RPG later in the video. Now let's get into the co-op monthly for June.
With our intro out of the way, it's time to get into all the co-op games released last month. First up is Parallel Experiment, a two-player puzzle game that lives and dies by teamwork since each player only sees one side of the puzzle. It's a small indie release with no major critic reviews, but it's sitting at a very respectable 84% very positive on Steam from 150 plus users. Special shout out to Steam user Double Dingus, elite username by the way, who wrote great co-op puzzle games in the likes of We Were Here series, where you have to communicate to solve puzzles. Puzzles were top notch, story was entertaining enough, and art style is nice. So overall, good puzzles, good vibes, and a great username by Dingus. Next is Survival Kids, a spiritual successor to the Game Boy Color classic, but did anybody actually ask for this? Critics seem to think not, with a 60 on OpenCritic from 20 plus reviews. To be fair, this one's clearly aimed at younger players, so if you're an adult looking for something deep and challenging, this ain't it. But if your kids already put 300 hours into Mario Kart World and need something new, it could be worth a shot. Just be prepared for a game that's more after-school snack with your kid than full-course meal on your own. Okay, I'll admit it, I was deeply skeptical about Dune Awakening, a survival game plus MMO elements. That's a red flag combo for me, but hey, I was wrong. The game launched strong with an 81 on OpenCritic and an 82% very positive on Steam, with over 35,000 ratings as of writing. People are loving the faithful adaptation of the Dune universe, a tight survival loop, and the rare miracle of a bug-light launch without early access no less. Color me impressed. If you've been looking to harvest some spice, now's the time. Here's a surprise twist for the month. Space Marine Mastercrafted Edition has become a bit of a lightning rod. Critics gave it a fair 73 as of writing, appreciating the polish-up visuals, smoother controls, and quality of life improvements, but on Steam it's actually at a mostly negative. Now that is less than 100 reviews, but the $40 price tag seems to be the sore spot. It's not that the game is bad, just that people were hoping for more bang for their buck. If you're like us and never played the original but did love Space Marines 2, it still might be worth checking out, maybe just wait for a sale. Sadly, the downward vibe continues with Wizard of Legend 2. The original was a beloved indie darling, but the sequel, developed by a different studio, hasn't hit the same highs. Steam reviews are mixed at 61%, and critic scores are kind of all over the place right now, from a 6 out of 10 to a full 10 out of 10. Most players are saying it feels like a single-player game that happens to support co-op, and some bugs aren't helping. You know, we're not going to love to see that. We were hoping this would fill our Hades-shaped hole, but for now, we'll keep an eye on Sworn instead. You guys good over there, Sworn devs? Let us know when you're ready for that 1.0. Peak is the breakout hit we did not see coming this month, from the team behind Another Crab's Treasure. Born out of a casual game jam by Aggro Crab devs, it's blown up with over 102,000 concurrent players on Steam and a 92% very positive rating from 17,000 plus reviews. The premise is that you and 3 friends climb a mountain together using only proximity chat. The mountain rotates biomes every day, and when somebody dies, they become a ghost who can help you, or I guess in theory haunt you. It's got capital V vibes, it's got chaos, and yes, it's on our radar as a game to play and cover. Comment below if you want to see us scream our way up a snowy cliff while Ghost Gabe inevitably messes with us. FBC Firebreak launched on the 17th, and well, it didn't exactly set the Remedyverse on fire. It's sitting at a mixed 66% on Steam and a 64 on OpenCritic. But let's be real, that's not what you guys are here for. You want to know, what did the bros think? And yes, we have played through all of Firebreak, and yes, we will be putting out a full review soon, just as soon as we dig our way out of our current content pile. But thanks to the magic of the monthly, we can get our quick thoughts out early right now. So here's the hot take. Yeah, those scores are actually kind of spot on. The concept was always cool, but the execution was not quite there. There's just not enough content yet, and what is there doesn't totally nail the fun factor. That said, we do think the foundation is solid, there's room for growth, and we're rooting for it. Full review is coming soon, so make sure you're subscribed if you want to hear us break it all down. Speaking of how amazing the monthly can be, one of my favorite parts about doing this series is that it selfishly doesn't just help you discover new games, it helps me too. I've gotten pretty good at spelunking through the nooks and crannies where hidden indie gems live, and this month I emerged from those caves with Lynn's Island, a gorgeous 8-player open-world survival game with ARPG combat and some seriously pretty vibes. It officially hit 1.0 on June 19th and already boasts a very positive rating on Steam with nearly 4,000 reviews. As we've said many times before, the survival crafting genre has gotten a little stale for Gabe and I, but Lynn's Island has that certain something that's making me pay attention. So if you've played it and think it's worth bringing to the squad, hit us up in the comments. We're always down to be peer pressured into checking out cool new co-op stuff.
We only have a handful of co-op games releasing in July, but honestly, they're all worth playing, so let's get into it. On the 10th, we have Mycopunk, a 4-player online co-op shooter published by Devolver. Whenever I see their logo, I know it's gonna be some sort of funky game, and this definitely fits the bill. It looks to feature an array of unique sci-fi weapons, tons of enemy variety, and it's all presented in a Mobius-inspired art style, which is a surefire way to catch my attention. We've been keeping tabs on this one, and we're stoked to finally jump into it when it hits Steam in just over a week. If you're like us and grabbed a Switch 2 only for it to start collecting dust by the TV, then you're probably counting down the days to Donkey Kong Bonanza. And surprise, DK's latest adventure features a light co-op mechanic, letting a second player jump in as Pauline in a support role. It's a step up from Mario Odyssey's take on co-op, though it still seems better suited for younger siblings or that casual co-op gamer in your life. That said, we're stoked the option's even there, especially since it supports both local and online co-op via game chat. Bonanza launches July 17th exclusively for Switch 2, and we can't wait for it. We covered Worship in our Summer Game Fest roundup, but here's a quick refresher. It's a Pikmin-inspired roguelite where you recruit tiny cultists to serve your dark god. Equal parts chaotic and hilarious, the game supports 4-player local and online co-op, with each player gathering their own followers to work together to bring about the end of the world. Even with a packed July, I'd really love to check this one out. If you're feeling the same, mark your calendar because Worship hits Steam Early Access on July 16th. Next up, we have Undermine 2, an action-adventure roguelike featuring 2-player co-op with both online and local modes. The game features different playable characters, each with their own unique stats and abilities. We never played the first one, but man, this sequel looks very promising. The pixel art is amazing, and it looks like the action is just as good. It's launching onto Early Access on the 22nd, so whether you plan to jump in on day one or wait a bit, make sure you wishlist the game in the meantime. We get recommended a lot of games from you all in the comments, but one title has come up way more than the rest, and that's Abiotic Factor. This is a 6-player online co-op survival crafting game we sadly missed at its early access launch, but now it's finally hitting 1.0 and it's coming to PlayStation and Xbox Series consoles. Even better, it's launching day one on both PS Plus game catalog and Xbox Game Pass. At this point, we've really got zero excuses, so hopefully we find the time to finally dive in when it drops on July 22nd. Look, I said that all of these games were low-key bangers, and here comes another certified must-play with Killing Floor 3 finally launching on July 24th. This is a 6-player online co-op horror shooter coming to Xbox consoles, PlayStation, and Steam with full crossplay support. Don't know what more I need to say on this one, it looks rad, and I know I'm gonna gather a full squad of 6 of my friends to check this one out on day one, so see ya there. Another game out on the 24th is Ratatan, the spiritual successor to Patapon. It's a rhythm-based side-scrolling roguelike featuring 4-player online co-op, and it's coming to all platforms. There's a lot going on in these, and I'm so curious how it actually works in co-op. There was a free demo out for a bit, so if you got the chance to try it, let us know in the comments below. And rounding out our releases for July is Grounded 2, which got a surprise reveal at Xbox's recent showcase. We never got around to playing the original, and Grounded 2 is making it really hard to skip over. Pretty much everything from the first game has been expanded, story content is available at launch, you can ride bug mounts, and the new map is 3 times larger than the original starting zone. Like its predecessor, Grounded 2 will launch in early access on Steam, Xbox, and Xbox Game Pass on July 29th.
Before we jump into the news, let us tell you about this episode's sponsor, Cloudheim. What you're seeing here is your next co-op RPG fix. Cloudheim blends satisfying crafting gameplay with chaotic physics-based combat. You can juggle enemies through the air using your weapons, skills, abilities, and of course, some help from your friends. The game supports 4-player online co-op with all weapon and ability unlocks shared between your team. There's plenty to keep you busy outside of combat with base building, shot management, and our personal favorite, some good old-fashioned dungeon crawling. And let's be real, it all looks gorgeous, from detailed environments to a cast of colorful characters and enemies. If you're eager to check it out, good news, Cloudheim's open beta is going live later in July, and you can sign up today on Steam. Just follow the link in our description and be sure to wishlist the game while you're at it. Huge thanks to Cloudheim and developer Noodlecat for sponsoring this episode. Now let's get into the news.
Like I said at the start, this news section is a doozy, so let's get going with some updates on released co-op titles. Mersewood is an RPG life sim / farming game with a dark and gritty vibe. It's like Stardew Valley by way of Dark Souls, which I guess means you could say it's the Dark Souls of farming games. Okay, with that out of my system, earlier this month, the team at Bad Rich Games announced that 4-player local co-op is coming to Mersewood. All the game's features will be supported, including marriage and starting a family. No release date for the game, so be sure to add this to your wishlist so you know the second the update drops. Another game receiving a co-op mode is Hitman World of Assassination. Announced as part of the IO Interactive Showcase, a new mode titled Stone and Night was teased, which sees players tackling the stealth sandbox of Hitman from a co-op perspective. I am pumped for this. Hitman 3 was one of my favorite games of 2021, and I could totally see how all of this could work in co-op. Also, don't ask why the only trailer we could find is a 38-second reel on this. Quick update on Thunderfolk, you can now play the first 4 missions for free with the new free trial version. Even better, your progress carries over if you decide to purchase the full game. Thunderfolk is one of our favorite co-op games of the year so far, so if you're still curious, definitely give the trial a try. And don't forget to check out our full review for the full rundown. The Xbox Showcase gave us our latest update on Sea of Thieves with its Season 17 trailer. This season is titled Smuggler's Tide, and as you can guess, it revolves around the new smuggler's role. The new season launches sometime this August. We didn't learn much more than that, but hey, this all looks really cool. Happy to see this game continue to thrive. Announced at the PC Gaming Show, we got our first look at Home and Harbor, Barotrauma's upcoming expansion due to hit sometime next year. The biggest new feature here is the introduction of base building. The expansion also welcomes a new faction into the game called the Descendants. This was a bit of a co-op indie gem, so if you haven't checked it out yet, maybe this is your sign to look into it. After a steady stream of updates, No More Room in Hell 2 is getting a brand new map set in New York's Broadway district. Alongside the reveal, the devs also teased a summer roadmap featuring some welcome additions like match reconnect and difficulty preferences. We were really excited for this game at launch, but it arrived with a heap of issues. Hopefully these updates bring it closer to where it needs to be, because we're still eager to finally give it a proper shot. Another game that had a rough launch but has steadily been improving is Warhammer 40k Darktide. The game has seen a slew of updates since its debut, and now it's getting 2 more with the new Arbitrus class and the Battle for Tertium update. We've talked about the class before, but the Battle for Tertium might be the shot in the arm the game needed. Missions are now structured in a specific order, giving players a more cohesive narrative-driven experience with better pacing to match. Story missions still play like the regular ones, but they feature more curated enemy spawns, new voice lines, and even cinematic mission debriefs. It really feels like Darktide is finally hitting a stride, and we might just owe it to ourselves to give it another shot. Okay, so let's talk about Windblown. Man, jumping into its early access launch last year was an absolute blast, and it's been great to see the team steadily refine the experience. This latest update focuses on gifts and not just a tweak here or there. Every single gift in the game has been reworked. On top of that, they've added 2 new weapons and a handful of other tweaks and improvements. Honestly, the day they drop the 1.0 update, I already know Christian, Andrew, and I are dropping everything to dive back in. Capcom recently hosted a Spotlight livestream, and man, Resident Evil Requiem looks so good, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Monster Hunter Wilds free title update number 2, and it's a big one, guys. The biggest additions are 2 new monsters with Lagiacros and Seregios descending into the wilds. There's some other welcome additions like layered weapon skins, finally, and the ability to choose your handler, but let's be real, no one would actually choose Eric over Alma. There's loads more to this update, like a seasonal event and a new tempered monster, but I'll let you pore over it on your own time. The update is live now, and this just might be my excuse to dive back into the game. Rounding out this section is the latest update for Elden Ring Night Rain. Just when you thought you were done after beating all 8 bosses, think again. The sickos over at From Software have introduced powered up versions of select bosses with the Ever Dark Sovereign update. They're rolling these out slowly, and the guys already took on the first one. Let's just say they're no joke. We're hyped to see more updates coming, and here's hoping for a big expansion that pulls us back in for good.
Alright, it's time to keep moving with the news and updates we got last month for upcoming co-op titles. Neon Inferno is a retro-inspired 2D run-and-gun set in a neon-soaked cyberpunk New York City, and it's given all the right signals. How do I know that? Because it's published by Retroware, a team with a solid track record for finding small but stellar retro-style gems. If this one's pinging your radar, good news, it got a release date. You can dive in on October 2nd this year. Summer Games Fest showed off plenty of trailers for upcoming co-op titles. Perhaps most importantly, though, was a brief look at Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Still no release date, but we did get 2 new heroes added to the roster, Rocket Raccoon and She-Hulk. You know, the classic tag team duo, Muscle and Mammal. Yeah, the pairing feels a little bit random, but we're not complaining. It's Marvel, it's .emu, it's gonna be fantastic. Everything in me wanted to title this block RIP Marathon, but I resisted. It's a low-hanging fruit, Andrew. You are better than that. That said, Arc Raiders is officially stepping up to the plate with a release date of November 30th, and given Bungie's marathon delay, this could be Arc's time to truly shine. All the previews were pointing that way, and I was unfortunately busy playing Marathon at the time, which now is feeling potentially pointless, but it's fine. I'm not bitter or anything, I promise. We got another look at Chrono Odyssey during SGF, a flashy action MMORPG built in Unreal Engine 5, so naturally the visuals are doing a lot here. The trailer is giving major Dark Souls boss rush vibes, which could be cool, but it's also giving major I have no idea what this game actually is energy. Apparently it's a seamless open world where you can manipulate time, explore past generations of said world, and engage in PvP content. And honestly, the more I read about it, the less I understand. So yeah, cool trailer, but consider me a skeptic. Probably my most anticipated co-op title for the back half of 2025 is Dying Light: The Beast, the DLC turned full sequel to a fan favorite series. I've talked about it here before, but Dying Light 2 just did not work for us co-op wise. The Beast looks like it's tackling those issues head on, focusing on true shared progression and a tighter overall scope. Sign me up for that, because killing zombies and parkouring across rooftops with the boys sounds like the perfect late summer activity. And by the way, that's the news, The Beast is dropping on August 22nd. Okay, next up on the script, I have the First Ascendant Breakthrough DLC trailer. Okay, let's go ahead and watch that trailer together, see how it goes. All right, yep, there's the title for the game. There's some lady. There's another lady. Okay, what are we watching here? And another lady? Bruh. Yeah, so First Ascendant is getting DLC on August 7th. Okay, let's get back on track with Big Walk, the next title from the brilliant minds behind Untitled Goose Game. We got our most in-depth look yet with a new trailer that gives a full gameplay overview. As the name suggests, Big Walk is about Well, going on a big walk with your friends. But the real focus here is communication. The devs have built a dynamic proximity chat system that changes based on distance and the environment, and it plays a huge role in the puzzles you'll be solving along the trail. It's quirky, it's charming, it's wonderfully weird, and while we still don't have a release date beyond sometime in 2026, we can't wait to hit the trail together. Haunted Paws got a new trailer alongside the announcement of its closed alpha, showing off local split-screen co-op and giving us a good look at what it's like to be a couple of very good boys exploring a spooky world. You can still sign up for the closed alpha, check their Steam page for more info. Gabe and I already consider ourselves good boys by nature, but turn us into two ghost-hunting pups, that's the full evolution. Chat, serious question. Is Cappy Castaway even cuter than Haunted Paws? Based on this second trailer, I'm leaning hard towards yes. The game stars a baby capybara lost in a zoo flood and a clever crow companion named Corvi, and this latest look gave us our first real glimpse of the gameplay. Cappy can move heavy objects and dig for treasure, while Corvi soars to hard-to-reach areas. Cozy, comedic, adorable, and while we don't have a release date yet, this is a no-brainer wishlist addition. What if Moana, but survival crafting game? That's basically the pitch for Voyagers of Nira, and I'm sold. Revealed during the woman-led game showcase, shout out to that fantastic event for putting this on our radar, Voyagers features 10-player online co-op, vibrant island environments, and some genuinely cool traversal mechanics. There's also a unique magic system inspired by the tropical setting, which helps it stand out in a genre that's more than a bit samey these days. It officially hits early access on August 5th, and we will be watching closely. We got a new, less Jeff Keighley coded trailer for King of Meat, and it continues to be one of the wildest party platformers on the horizon. Imagine Fall Guys meets dungeon crawling with a splash of competitive level creation thrown in. It's chaotic and weird, and honestly I'm kind of into it. It's coming sometime in 2025 to all platforms, and there's a PC playtest live right now. Check the Steam page if you want in on that madness. We also got a fresh look at Hella, a gorgeous 3D adventure game where you play as a group of tiny field mice exploring the Scandinavian countryside. This trailer gave us a taste of both solo and co-op platforming gameplay, and the cozy vibes are absolutely off the charts. There's no release date yet, but this one is a visual stunner and an easy wishlist pick. Den of Wolves continues to feed us just enough breadcrumbs to stay obsessed. This new gameplay overview showed off a mission we hadn't seen before and gave us a glimpse at some of the futuristic tech, including invisibility and stealth options that could definitely level up your heists. Everything about this game screams potential, and we're hoping the slow build pays off with a proper release date soon. Until then, we're just going to have to keep plotting our cyber heist fantasies and our dreams. Nevergrave, The Witch and the Curse is a 4-player online co-op Metroidvania roguelike coming from the team behind Palworld. Does this game remind you of anything? Perhaps another ultra-successful Metroidvania set in an eerie underground world? I mean, why stop at Pokemon when you can get some of that Hollow Knight pie? Am I right or am I right? Regardless of your thoughts on Pocket Pair, this game does look kinda interesting. The co-op aspect isn't totally what we expected. The game revolves around a mechanic that allows you to possess monsters using your witch hat, which now that I'm thinking about it sounds awfully similar to Mario Odyssey's mechanic, but are we surprised by that at this point? In 4-player co-op, it seems that your teammates can only play as hats and possess either your character or the creatures you stun, which is such a weird way to tackle co-op. Anyways, despite all that, we've never mentioned this game on the monthly, so we wanted to give you this quick overview alongside the news that the game is pivoting away from early access and will instead launch with a full 1.0 version on Steam sometime in the future. Borderlands 4 dropped a fresh story trailer and a wave of previews this past month, and the feelers are surprisingly good. A lot of outlets are calling this one a soft reboot with a brand new setting, new cast, and some RPG mechanics to shake things up. That sounds like exactly what the series needs. Most of us felt a little burnout by the end of Borderlands 3, even if it was pretty solid, so a clean slate is welcome. The gameplay looks slick, traversal options seem fun, and dare I say, I'm kind of digging the visuals. So yeah, I guess I'm back on the Borderlands train. That September 12th release date just shot up my hype list. And finally, I'm wrapping up my part of the monthly and passing the mic back to Gabe with one last bit of good news. Little Nightmares 3 has a firm release date for October 10th. Perfect spooky season timing. The latest trailer doubles down on the eerie dream logic horror the series does so well, and while I think the world looks beautifully creepy, I'm still not totally sold on what we've seen from the gameplay so far. That said, I already know I'm playing this whether I like it or not because Gabe has made it his mission to emotionally scar me on camera. So if you want to witness that inevitable descent into terror, hit subscribe. I promise to be a very brave boy for the most part.
And finally, we're in the home stretch here. Let's talk about some new game announcements. Before we jump into the big showcase announcements, we've got a special shout out for Humblets. This 4-player online co-op cozy adventure lets you and your friends explore a charming procedural world. You'll craft items, decorate your tent, and even settle conflicts with a unique card game mechanic. It's giving strong Animal Crossing vibes, but with a bigger focus on co-op, which sounds pretty sweet to us. No release date yet, so definitely add it to your wishlist if it's your kind of game. PlayStation kicked off the summer showcase season with their latest state of play revealing Sea of Remnants. This visually stunning RPG puts you in the shoes of a crew of puppet pirates. The original reveal didn't give us much more than that, but recent previews paint a clearer picture of the game. First off, the game will be a free-to-play title, and it appears to have at least some minor gacha game mechanics. Combat is turn-based, and there seems to be a single-player prologue before the game opens up to its online open-world format. Definitely lots more to learn about this one. Be sure to check out some previews if any of this piques your interest. The biggest reveal from State of Play was hands down Nioh 3. The series has long stood out as one of the most successful Souls-like franchises. This time, the big leap is a fully open world, potentially giving Nioh its own Elden Ring moment. While the trailers didn't show co-op gameplay, PlayStation has confirmed online co-op for up to 3 players. Here's hoping they nail the co-op experience better than From Software did with Elden Ring. No release date yet, but expected sometime next year. Summer Game Fest this year wasn't great, not gonna lie, with wonky pacing and a lack of blockbuster reveals, but there's a silver lining. We got a treasure trove of stellar co-op announcements, starting with Out of Words. This 2-player Danish adventure features some stunning stop-motion animation, giving every character and environment a handcrafted, deeply human feel. Supporting both online and local co-op, the game follows 2 characters who lose their ability to speak. While its art direction definitely steals the spotlight, previews also rave about the clever gravity-shifting gameplay that has you and your partner collaborating to solve puzzles and overcome obstacles. We're seriously impressed with this and can't wait to play it. Look out for it next year on PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC via the Epic Game Store. We covered our favorite announcements of the season in a separate video. We'll link it down below, so be sure to check it out for a more detailed roundup. And one standout from that list is LEGO Voyagers. This 2-player co-op adventure supports both local and online play. You and a friend take on the role of individual LEGO pieces on a poetic mission to rescue an abandoned spaceship. Together, you'll solve creative puzzles by fusing and constructing structures and vehicles. Plus, LEGO Voyagers features a friend pass system similar to It Takes Two, so you only need 1 copy of the game to play online with a friend. It's so great to see more studios embracing this approach. No release date yet, but this is definitely one we'll be keeping a close eye on here on the channel. You know what would make for a pretty sick game? Using Nickelodeon characters as the cast of a 4-player co-op RPG. And that's exactly what Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny is going for. We only have a brief teaser, but we do know the game will feature SpongeBob, Katara, and Leonardo as playable characters, and they're also slowly unveiling more and more of the cast. The game will support online and local co-op and is due to release for all consoles later this year on September 30th. Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree is an upcoming 2-player online and local co-op roguelite set in a far-off mystic realm. Big anime vibes is this one, and from the looks of it, the combat seems pretty sick. The game will feature 8 different characters to choose from, each with their own abilities and weapons, allowing for some fun pairings and combos. There's also a hub village that evolves as you progress in the game, with different NPC storylines to engage with. These showcases tend to be full of anime games, which can blend together, but Toa actually stood out to us, and it's nice to see it support local co-op too. If you're eager to check this out, look forward to its release on all platforms later this year on September 18th. We've been eating good when it comes to retro co-op beat-em-ups, and here's another one with Scott Pilgrim EX. Scott Pilgrim EX is a totally new adventure that sees Scott, Ramona, and friends facing off against rival gangs in a version of Toronto fractured by time and space. There are 7 playable characters, and the game supports 4-player co-op both online and locally. As a big fan of this IP, the visuals look incredible, and Anna Managuchi is back on the soundtrack, which is an instant win in my book. Scott Pilgrim EX is coming to all platforms sometime next year. So this next one comes from the team behind Guacamelee and Nobody Saves the World, the latter of which was one of our favorite games of 2022. In Blighted, you play as the lone survivor of a village massacre, embarking on a revenge-fueled quest across a psychedelic western world to reclaim lost memories and bring justice to those responsible. It's a darker tone than their previous games, but the world remains just as vibrant. The game supports 2-player local co-op and is slated for release sometime next year. Be sure to add this to your wishlist to stay updated. Wu-Tang Rise of the Deceiver is an upcoming 3-player online co-op roguelike featuring flashy anime-style action set to reimagine Wu-Tang Clan tracks. Customize your own character as you embark on a mission to rescue lost members of the Wu-Tang Clan. The game is set in an Afro-surrealist world inspired by a reimagined Shaolin, and honestly, it looks pretty impressive. If you're intrigued, be sure to add this to your wishlist. There's no release date yet, so that's the best way to stay up to date. If you're a fan of Cuphead, keep an eye out for Into the Unwell, a 3-player online co-op roguelike set in a bizarre rubber hose animation world. You play as a flawed misfit who's been thrown into the Unwell, a surreal place where you battle your vices, meet strange characters, and unlock new powers along the way. There are 3 different character classes, each equipped with one of 4 unorthodox weapons, with combat leaning heavily into melee action that really complements the game's twisted cartoon aesthetic. No release date yet, but the game is slated to launch onto early access on Steam, so again, be sure to throw this one onto the wishlist. If you're a longtime fan of the channel, you'd know that while Andrew and I love all kinds of co-op titles, puzzle games aren't typically our cup of tea. That is, until we played the original Escape Academy. So it shouldn't be a surprise we're stoked for the announcement of Escape Academy 2 Back to School. The biggest new addition here is the shift to an open world format, opposed to simply selecting your missions from a menu. I really like this change, as it even seems like the game will have more of a school life vibe, with players attending classes and exploring the campus between missions. No release date was given, but expected to support 2-player online and local co-op when it releases for all platforms sometime next year. The PC Gaming Show gave us 3 promising reveals, starting with Far Far West. This 4-player online co-op shooter throws you and your crew of bounty hunting robot cowboys into dangerous contrasts handed down by the local sheriff. And yeah, that's the whole premise, a solid excuse to shoot some skeletons with my friends. Guns aren't the only thing in your arsenal though, as you can also sling spells and coordinate powerful abilities. Between missions, you head back to town to upgrade your gear, grab new perks, and assemble your most busted loadout. No release date as of yet, but if you're eager to check it out, sign up for the upcoming playtest on Steam now and throw it on the wishlist while you're at it. If you've ever wished Breath of the Wild had co-op, this might be the one for you. Forever is a 3-player online co-op RPG set in a vast fantasy open world. It features multiple classes, weapon skills, and deep RPG systems that let you craft your ideal hero, all wrapped up in a gorgeous cel-shaded art style. Open world co-op games are rare, so it's nice to see more developers designing these kinds of games. No release date was given, so you know the drill, hit this up on Steam. I'm always looking for co-op horror games to force on my friends, so I obviously set up during the reveal of Eyes of Hellfire. This is a 5-player online co-op horror title published by none other than Blumhouse Games. You and your friends find yourself trapped in a crumbling lodge and must work together to escape if you can trust each other. Gameplay unfolds in turns using a deck of action cards, and it all feels very Betrayal at House on the Hill, which happens to be one of my favorite co-op board games. There's no release release date yet, but it's headed to Steam Early Access sometime next year. Solo Leveling is one of the most popular anime out right now, so if you're a fan, you definitely want to take a look at Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive. This RPG supports 4-player online co-op, allowing players to take on the mighty commanders in co-op raids. Unsure if that's just a co-op mode, but details are scarce on this one. It's also uncertain if this is a simple port of the original gacha game Solo Leveling Arise, or a totally separate experience. Hopefully we get more details on this sometime next year. And our last announcement was also the last of the Xbox Showcase. It wasn't the most exciting closer to be sure, as the big reveal was Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Which look, I'm stoked for another Black Ops, especially after how much fun we had with the last one, but this is all but expected and not the kind of one more thing announcement you want to close the showcase. That said, we are hyped for the fact that this next iteration will feature a fully playable co-op campaign. Black Ops 6 had a stellar campaign, so we're stoked to experience what is sure to be another banger story in co-op when the game launches later this year.
Okay, friends, as always, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this monthly and are having a wonderful summer. We know the world is a bit stressful these days, so we're just glad we can help you find some games to play with your friends and make things a little bit more fun. If you want to help us help you, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, or consider joining our Patreon for some exclusive extra content. Huge shout out to our patrons for supporting the channel. We'll catch y'all on the next episode of The Co-op Bros.